In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, an ancient alien civilization known as the Zarkonian Empire had reigned supreme for 800,000 years. Their technological prowess was unmatched, their military might unrivaled. The Zarkonians, with their towering frames and iridescent skin, believed themselves to be the pinnacle of evolution in the galaxy. Emperor Zixnor, the 12,000th ruler of the Zarkonian dynasty, sat upon his crystalline throne aboard the flagship Eternal Dominion. His multifaceted eyes gazed out at the holographic display of his empire, spanning nearly a quarter of the galaxy. He felt a sense of pride, tinged with boredom. For millennia, no species had dared to challenge the Zarkonians. Their empire had grown complacent in its supremacy. "Your Majesty," chirped Grand Admiral Vexlar, his antennae twitching with excitement, "our long-range sensors have detected a new spacefaring species in the Orion Arm. They call themselves humans." Emperor Zixnor's mandibles clicked with interest. "Humans? Tell me more, Admiral." "They are a young race, barely 1,000 years into their interstellar age. But they are unusual. Our probes indicate they possess a remarkable adaptability and an insatiable curiosity. They've already colonized hundreds of worlds in their sector." The Emperor leaned forward, his crystalline exoskeleton glinting in the starlight. "Are they a threat?" Admiral Vexlar's compound eyes flickered with amusement. "Hardly, Your Majesty. Their technology is primitive compared to ours. They still rely on fusion drives and rudimentary quantum communication. We could crush them with a fraction of our fleet." Emperor Zixnor waved a clawed appendage dismissively. "Then why bother mentioning them, Admiral? We've encountered thousands of nascent species over the millennia." "Because, Your Majesty," Vexlar continued, barely containing his excitement, "the humans have achieved something no other species has in our 800,000-year history. They've managed to reverse engineer one of our abandoned outposts on the fringes of their territory." This caught the Emperor's attention. He rose from his throne, towering over the Admiral. "Impossible. Our technology is beyond their comprehension. It would be like insects deciphering quantum mechanics." Admiral Vexlar projected a hologram showing grainy footage of human scientists working on Zarkonian artifacts. "And yet, they've done it. In less than a decade, they've made significant progress in understanding our propulsion systems and energy production methods. Their rate of technological advancement is unprecedented." Emperor Zixnor's mind raced with possibilities. For the first time in eons, he felt a spark of genuine interest. "Perhaps it's time we paid these humans a visit, Admiral. Prepare a diplomatic envoy. Let's see how these curious creatures react to our presence." "At once, Your Majesty," Vexlar bowed, his antennae quivering with anticipation. As the Admiral scurried away, Emperor Zixnor turned back to the galactic map. He zoomed in on the tiny section of space occupied by humanity. Such a small realm, yet filled with so much potential. The Emperor felt a strange mixture of curiosity and apprehension. Could these humans truly be different from the countless species they'd encountered before? Little did Emperor Zixnor know, the humans had been preparing for this moment ever since they'd discovered the abandoned Zarkonian outpost. Deep within a secret facility on Earth's moon, a diverse team of scientists, engineers, and military strategists had been working tirelessly to unlock the secrets of alien technology. Dr. Samantha Chen, the lead xenotechnologist, stood before a group of world leaders, her eyes bright with excitement. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've done it. We've not only reverse-engineered the Zarkonian power core, but we've improved upon it. Our version is 30% more efficient and can be miniaturized for tactical applications." General Marcus Stone, a grizzled veteran with cybernetic enhancements, nodded approvingly. "And the weapons systems?" Dr. Chen's colleague, Dr. Adebayo Okafor, stepped forward. "We've made significant progress, General. By combining Zarkonian energy-focusing techniques with our own advances in plasma physics, we've developed a prototype weapon that could potentially penetrate their shields." The room buzzed with a mixture of hope and trepidation. Humanity had known for years that they weren't alone in the universe. The discovery of the Zarkonian outpost had been both a blessing and a curse. It had accelerated their technological development by centuries, but it had also confirmed their worst fears. There were godlike alien empires out there, and humanity was hopelessly outmatched. Or were they? United Nations Secretary-General Yuki Tanaka raised her hand for silence. Dr. Chen, Dr. Okafor, your teams have performed miracles. But the question remains, are we ready? Our long-range sensors indicate the Zarkonians have noticed us. It's only a matter of time before they arrive. Dr. Chen and Dr. Okafor exchanged glances. It was Dr. Chen who spoke, her voice filled with determination. Madam Secretary, we'll never be fully ready to face an empire that's 800,000 years more advanced than us. But we have something they don't, the element of surprise. They have no idea how much we've learned, how much we've adapted their own technology against them. General Stone leaned forward, his cybernetic eye whirring as it focused. We've also been implementing the new tech across our fleet. Every ship, from our capital vessels to our smallest fighters, has been upgraded with Zarkonian-derived systems. We're not the primitive species they're expecting to find. Secretary-General Tanaka nodded slowly, weighing the information. Very well. We'll continue with Operation Trojan Horse. When the Zarkonians arrive, we'll play the part of the awestruck primitive species. But we'll be ready for anything. As the meeting adjourned, Dr. Chen couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and fear. Humanity was about to face its greatest challenge, armed with determination, ingenuity, and a few tricks up their sleeve. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of Earth and perhaps the entire galaxy. Little did the Zarkonians know, their 800,000-year reign of unchallenged supremacy was about to meet its match in the most unexpected and hilarious way possible. First contact and feigned fumbles. As the Zarkonian diplomatic fleet emerged from hyperspace on the outskirts of the Sol system, humanity held its collective breath. Operation Trojan Horse was in full swing, with Earth's defenses carefully hidden and its most advanced ships disguised as primitive vessels. Aboard the Zarkonian flagship, Resplendent Wisdom, Ambassador Zilvax adjusted his ceremonial carapace, preparing to make first contact with the humans. His assistant, Krita, buzzed nervously at his side. Remember, Krita, Zilvax chittered, these humans are barely out of their stone age compared to us. We must be patient and benevolent. After all, it's not every day one meets a god. As the Zarkonian ships approached Earth, they were greeted by a small fleet of human vessels that appeared to be held together with little more than hope and duct tape. In reality, these ships were Earth's most advanced crafts, their true capabilities hidden beneath a carefully constructed facade of primitive technology. Captain Elena Rodriguez of the UES Audacity fought to keep a straight face as she hailed the alien flagship. Her crew had spent months practicing their awestruck primitive act, and now it was showtime. Greetings, space visitors, Elena said, purposefully fumbling with the communications console. We come in peace and stuff. Please don't disintegrate us. Ambassador Zilvax's mandibles twitched in amusement. Fear not, young species. We are the Zarkonians, rulers of a quarter of this galaxy. We come in peace, seeking diplomatic relations with your kind. Elena's eyes widened in feigned wonder. Wow, a whole quarter. That's like at least 12 stars, right? Krita leaned towards Zilvax, whispering, Are they really this primitive, sir? Perhaps our intelligence was mistaken about their capabilities. Zilvax waved a dismissive claw. Patience, Krita. They're young. We were all young once, 800,000 years ago. Meanwhile, in a hidden bunker beneath the lunar surface, Dr. Samantha Chen and her team monitored the exchange, barely containing their laughter. They're buying it, Dr. Chen chuckled. Captain Rodriguez deserves an Oscar for this performance. General Stone nodded approvingly. Let's hope the rest of the plan goes this smoothly. Have we located their flagship's weak points? Dr. Okafor pointed to a holographic display of the Zarkonian vessel. Yes, sir. Their shield generators are impressive, but we've identified a fluctuation in their aft section. If we can exploit that, we might be able to disable their main systems without destroying the ship. Back in space, the diplomatic dance continued. The Zarkonians, thoroughly amused by the humans' apparent bumbling, agreed to a face-to-face meeting on Earth's surface. A location was chosen, a hastily constructed welcome center that looked more like a ramshackle warehouse than a diplomatic venue. As Ambassador Zilvax and his entourage stepped out of their sleek shuttle, they were greeted by a group of humans dressed in an eclectic mix of formal wear and what appeared to be tin-foil hats. Secretary General Tanaka, struggling to maintain her composure, stepped forward. "Welcome, O great and sparkly ones. We are honored by your presence. Please, enjoy our finest delicacies." She gestured to a table laden with an assortment of Earth's most perplexing foods, everything from jello molds to lutefisk. Ambassador Zilvax's antennae twitched in a mixture of amusement and confusion. "Your hospitality is unique, humans. Perhaps we could discuss more substantial matters, like your integration into the Zarkonian Empire as a protectorate species." Tanaka's eyes widened comically. "Oh my, a protectorate? Is that like a really big tectorate?" As the diplomatic talks continued, filled with human misunderstandings and Zarkonian condescension, a covert team led by Dr. Chen and Dr. Okafor snuck aboard the alien shuttle. Their mission: to gather as much intel as possible and plant a few surprises of their own. "Look at this technology," Dr. Okafor whispered, his eyes gleaming as he scanned the shuttle systems. "It's centuries beyond what we reverse-engineered, but I'm already seeing ways we could improve it." Dr. Chen nodded, carefully placing a nearly microscopic device on the shuttle's main computer. "That's humanity's greatest strength, AudioBook. We don't just copy, we innovate. Now, let's see how the Zarkonians like a taste of their own medicine." As the human scientists worked, Ambassador Zilvax was becoming increasingly frustrated with the diplomatic meeting. Every attempt at serious discussion was met with apparent misunderstanding or bizarre non-sequiturs. Perhaps, Zilvax chittered irritably, "we should simply demonstrate our power. It might help these humans understand their place in the galactic order." Krita nodded enthusiastically. "Excellent idea, sir. Shall I order a display of our fleet's capabilities?" Before Zilvax could respond, Secretary General Tanaka piped up. "Oh, a show. We love shows. Will there be fireworks?" "We have fireworks too, you know. They go boom and sparkle, just like your fancy ships." Zilvax's multifaceted eyes narrowed. For the first time, a flicker of doubt crossed his mind. Could these humans really be as simple as they appeared? Or was there more going on beneath the surface? As the Zarkonian ambassador pondered this, humanity's covert operatives were completing their mission, planting the seeds for what would become the most audacious and hilarious ambush in galactic history. The 800,000-year-old empire was about to learn that sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one you underestimate. Little did the Zarkonians know, their grand display of power would soon turn into a cosmic comedy of errors, with humanity playing the role of the ultimate galactic pranksters. The cosmic comedy unfolds. As the diplomatic farce continued on Earth's surface, the Zarkonian fleet prepared for their grand display of power. Ambassador Zilvax, thoroughly annoyed by the humans' apparent idiocy, decided it was time to shock and awe these primitive beings into submission. "Attention, humans," Zilvax announced, his voice dripping with condescension. "We shall now demonstrate a fraction of our fleet's capabilities. Observe and tremble before the might of the Zarkonian Empire." Secretary General Tanaka clapped her hands excitedly. "Ooh, space fireworks. Do you take requests? Can you make one that looks like a smiley face?" Zilvax's eye stalks twitched in irritation as he signaled his fleet. High above the Earth, The massive Zarkonian ships began to move into formation, their sleek hulls gleaming in the sunlight. It was a sight that would have struck fear into the hearts of any sensible species. But the humans weren't acting sensibly at all. As the alien ships charged their weapons for a dazzling but harmless display, something unexpected happened. The lead Zarkonian battlecruiser suddenly sprouted what appeared to be bunny ears. Aboard the Zarkonian flagship, alarms blared. "What's happening?" demanded Admiral Vexlar, his antennae quivering in confusion. A junior officer responded, panic in his voice. "Sir, our holoprojectors have been hijacked. We're broadcasting Earth entertainment." Indeed, every Zarkonian ship was now projecting massive holographic images. Some sported cartoonish animal features, while others displayed scenes from human sitcoms and reality TV shows. On the planet's surface, the human delegation burst into laughter. Zelvax whirled on them, his carapace flushing a deep purple in rage and embarrassment. "What is the meaning of this? How dare you make a mockery of the Zarkonian Empire?" Dr. Chen, who had quietly rejoined the group, stepped forward, dropping the act. "Oh, we dare, Ambassador. We dare because you came here expecting to find simpering primitives, ripe for conquest. Instead, you found humanity, adaptable, innovative, and with a wicked sense of humor." As Zilvax sputtered in indignation, the situation in space deteriorated further for the Zarkonians. Their ship's weapons systems, instead of firing impressive energy beams, were shooting out streams of colorful confetti and glitter. Admiral Vexlar watched in horror as his mighty fleet was reduced to a floating carnival. "Impossible. Our systems are impenetrable." But the humans had done the impossible. The tiny devices planted by Dr. Chen and Dr. Okafor had wormed their way into the Zarkonian ship systems, reprogramming them in ways the aliens had never imagined possible. Back on Earth, Secretary General Tanaka's demeanor had completely changed. Gone was the bumbling fool, replaced by a confident leader. "Ambassador Zilvax, I believe it's time we had a real conversation. Your empire has stood unchallenged for 800,000 years. That ends today." Zilvax, still reeling from the turn of events, could only stare in disbelief. "But how? You were so primitive, so foolish." General Stone stepped forward, a grin on his weathered face. "Ever hear of the Trojan horse, bug boy? Sometimes, the best defense is to make your enemy underestimate you. And boy, did you underestimate us." As if to punctuate the general's words, the Zarkonian ships in orbit suddenly found themselves unable to enter hyperspace. Their engines, once capable of crossing the galaxy in days, now produced sounds suspiciously similar to human flatulence. Dr. Okafor couldn't help but chuckle. "I might have gotten a bit carried away with that last bit of reprogramming." The humans' true fleet now decloaked, revealing ships that seamlessly blended Zarkonian technology with human innovation. They easily outmaneuvered the confused and humiliated alien armada. Ambassador Zilvax, realizing the true extent of the humans' capabilities, slumped in defeat. "What do you want from us?" Secretary General Tanaka's expression softened slightly. "Peace, Ambassador. Real, lasting peace. Your empire has stood alone for too long. It's time for you to join the galactic community as equals, not conquerors." As the implications of this unprecedented defeat sank in, Emperor Zixnor received the shocking news light years away. The unthinkable had happened. The mighty Zarkonian Empire had been outplayed, outsmarted, and thoroughly pranked by a species they had dismissed as primitive. The 800,000-year reign of unchallenged supremacy was over, ended not by a superior military force, but by human ingenuity, adaptability, and an irrepressible sense of humor. As news spread throughout the galaxy, other species who had long feared the Zarkonians watched in awe and amusement. The humans, it seemed, had done the impossible. They turned an invasion into a galactic laugh track. The stage was set for a new era in the Milky Way, one where humanity's unique blend of innovation, determination, and wit would reshape the cosmic order. And somewhere in the great expanse of space, the sound of laughter echoed among the stars. Part 4. Galactic Ripples and Cosmic Chuckles. In the days following the Great Zirconian Embarrassment, as it came to be known throughout the galaxy, the political landscape of the Milky Way underwent a seismic shift. The once mighty Zirconian Empire found itself in an unprecedented position, the butt of a cosmic joke. Emperor Zixnor, still reeling from the reports, called an emergency meeting of his High Council. The Grand Hall of the Imperial Palace, usually a place of solemn deliberation, now buzzed with nervous energy and barely suppressed snickers. Silence. Zixnor bellowed, his iridescent carapace flashing dangerous colors. We must address this situation with the humans. Grand Vizier Clarix, always quick to offer an opinion, stepped forward. Your Majesty, perhaps we should retaliate. Show these upstart humans the true might of our empire. From the back of the hall, a younger counselor named Zevra dared to speak up. With all due respect, Your Majesty, Grand Vizier, haven't we been embarrassed enough? Maybe it's time we tried something new. Like diplomacy. The hall fell silent, all eyes turning to Emperor Zixnor. For a moment, it seemed as if the young counselor might be vaporized on the spot. Then, to everyone's surprise, the Emperor began to laugh. It started as a low rumble and grew into a full-bodied guffaw that shook the crystalline pillars of the hall. 800,000 years, Zixnor wheezed between bouts of laughter. And it takes a species of comedians to make us question our ways. Very well, Counselor Zevra, let us try this. Diplomacy. Meanwhile, back on Earth, humanity was riding high on its victory. News channels buzzed with replays of the Zirconian fleet's impromptu comedy show, and Bunny Ear Battlecruiser quickly became the hottest Halloween costume of the year. In a secure facility beneath the United Nations headquarters, Earth's leaders gathered to discuss the path forward. The mood was jubilant, but cautious. Secretary General Tanaka addressed the assembly. Ladies and gentlemen, we've achieved the impossible. We've not only stood up to the galaxy's greatest superpower, we've made them a laughingstock. But now comes the hard part, building a lasting peace. Dr. Chen, now hailed as one of the architects of Earth's victory, stepped forward. We've received a transmission from the Zirconian homeworld. They're requesting to open diplomatic channels. The room erupted in cheers and applause. General Stone, however, remained cautious. Let's not forget, these bugs ruled the galaxy for 800,000 years. They might be down, but they're far from out. As Earth prepared for its first official diplomatic mission to the Zirconian Empire, other alien races watched with fascination. The Glubians, a race of gelatinous beings known for their logic and lack of humor, were particularly perplexed. On the Glubian homeworld, two scholars debated the recent events. I fail to comprehend, burbled Scholar Bloop, how the projection of leporine appendages onto starships constitutes a military victory. Scholar Gloop rippled thoughtfully. Perhaps, colleague, there is more to this humor than we previously calculated. We must study the humans further. Across the galaxy, long subjugated races began to stir. The Phthirians, an avian species known for their beautiful plumage and terrible puns, saw an opportunity. Their high nest convened an emergency session. My fellow Phthirians, squawked Chief Plume, it appears the humans have taught the Zirconians a lesson. Perhaps it's time we wing it and seek our own independence. The assembly groaned at the pun but cheered the sentiment. Similar scenes played out on countless worlds, as species long cowed by Zirconian might found new courage in humanity's example. Back in the Sol system, Earth's first diplomatic mission to Zarkon Prime was preparing for departure. The ship, christened the UES Last Laugh, was a marvel of human Zirconian hybrid technology. Its crew, a mix of Earth's finest diplomats, scientists, and comedians, were ready for anything. Captain Rodriguez, hero of the initial encounter, had been given command of the mission. As she surveyed her crew on the bridge, she couldn't help but smile. All right, folks, we've pulled off the greatest prank in galactic history. Now it's time to show the universe that humans know how to shake hands, or claws, or tentacles, or whatever the Zarkonians have. As the last laugh prepared to enter hyperspace, a message came through from Earth. It was Dr. Okafor, his face split in a wide grin. Captain, a little going-away gift from the tech team. We've programmed the ship's horn to play the Imperial March when you drop out of hyperspace at Zarkon Prime. You know, to keep the mood light. Rodriguez laughed. Okafor, you're incorrigible. But I love it. Let's go make some galactic history, again. With a flash of light and a burst of laughter from the crew, the last laugh disappeared into hyperspace, carrying with it the hopes of humanity and the future of galactic diplomacy. As news of the diplomatic mission spread, the galaxy held its breath. The Zarkonian Empire, a force of nature for 800,000 years, was about to sit down as equals with a species they had dismissed as primitive mere weeks ago. And that species was bringing joy buzzers and whoopee cushions to the negotiating table. Diplomatic dancing and intergalactic giggles. The UES last laugh dropped out of hyperspace near Zarkon Prime, the imposing homeworld of the Zarkonian Empire. True to Dr. Okafor's promise, the opening notes of the Imperial March blared across space, causing nearby Zarkonian patrol ships to scatter in confusion. Captain Rodriguez couldn't help but chuckle. Well, we've made our entrance. Let's hope the Zarkonians have developed a sense of humor in the last few weeks. As the last laugh approached the planet, a transmission came through. A nervous-looking Zarkonian appeared on screen, his antennae twitching anxiously. Human vessel, you are cleared for landing. Please proceed to the Imperial Spaceport. And, please refrain from any more musical broadcasts. They're disrupting our orbital traffic. The human delegation disembarked, led by Ambassador Sarah Chen, Dr. Chen's sister and a seasoned diplomat. As they stepped onto Zarkonian soil, they were greeted by a sight that none of them had expected. A welcoming committee of Zarkonians wearing what appeared to be hastily constructed human costumes. Emperor Zixnor himself stood at the forefront, draped in an oversized t-shirt that read, "I Earth," and a baseball cap perched precariously between his eye stalks. "Welcome, humans," he chittered, attempting a casual wave that looked more like a seizure. "We come in peace and style." Ambassador Chen, to her credit, managed to keep a straight face. "Emperor Zixnor, we're honored by your unique welcome. I see you've been studying our culture." "Indeed," Zixnor exclaimed, clearly proud of himself. "We've been watching your television broadcasts to better understand your species. I must say, this Jerry Springer seems like a formidable leader." As the human delegation struggled to contain their laughter, they were led into the Imperial Palace for the official talks. The Grand Hall had been decorated with a mishmash of Earth cultural icons. Posters of boy bands next to reproductions of classical art, fast food wrappers arranged in artistic patterns, and a disco ball hanging incongruously from the vaulted alien ceiling. The negotiations that followed were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The humans, true to form, approached serious diplomatic matters with a blend of wit and wisdom that left the Zarkonians constantly off balance. When discussing trade agreements, Ambassador Chen proposed, "We'll trade you 1,000 tons of coffee beans for the schematics of your faster-than-light drives. Trust me, once you try espresso, you'll think it's a steal." Surprisingly, the Zarkonians agreed, having become oddly fascinated with Earth's caffeine-fueled culture. As the talks progressed, it became clear that the Zarkonians were genuinely trying to change. They proposed joint scientific ventures, cultural exchange programs, and even a galactic comedy festival to foster understanding through shared laughter. Meanwhile, news of the summit spread across the galaxy, sparking a wave of changes on countless worlds. On Gloob, the gelatinous Gloobians established their first comedy club. The opening night's performance, titled "Why Did the Glubian Cross the Pteudopod?" was met with confused silence, but it was a start. The Phytherians leveraged their newfound confidence to negotiate better trade deals with the Zarkonians, slipping bird puns into every contract, much to the aliens' bewilderment. Even the warlike Krang, a species of rock-like beings known for their surly disposition, began to soften. They launched their first intergalactic tourism campaign with the slogan "Visit Krang. We promise not to crush you." Much. Back on Zarkon Prime, the summit was concluding. Emperor Zixnor, who had gradually shed his human costume pieces throughout the talks, addressed the assembly. For 800,000 years, we Zarkonians believed that our technological superiority made us the rightful rulers of the galaxy. The humans have shown us that true strength lies not in domination, but in adaptation, creativity, and yes, even humor. He paused, his compound eyes glistening with what might have been tears, or possibly just reflections from the disco ball. Therefore, I hereby announce the dissolution of the Zarkonian Empire. In its place, we will work with our human friends and all galactic species to establish a galactic federation of equals and comedians. The hall erupted in cheers, chittering, and various alien approximations of applause. As the human delegation prepared to depart, Emperor Zixnor approached Ambassador Chen with one last request. "Ambassador," he chittered hesitantly, "I was wondering if you might teach me this human custom I've observed. I believe it's called the high five." Ambassador Chen grinned. "Of course, Your Majesty. But be warned, on Earth, we follow it up with a down low, too slow." As the bemused emperor tried to navigate the intricacies of human hand-slapping rituals, Captain Rodriguez received a transmission from Earth. Dr. Okafor's excited face filled the screen. "Captain, you won't believe this. Remember those entertainment broadcasts we hijacked the Zarkonian ships with? Well, they've gone viral across the galaxy. We're getting requests from thousands of worlds for more human comedy shows. I think we just became the galaxy's leading exporters of laughter." As the last laugh prepared for its return journey, the crew couldn't help but feel they'd achieved something truly remarkable. They'd turned an 800,000-year-old empire into a partner in peace, armed with nothing but human ingenuity and a well-timed laugh track. The galaxy would never be the same, and the adventures were just beginning. After all, there were still plenty of stuck-up alien civilizations out there in need of a good punchline. Cosmic chuckles and intergalactic integration. In the months following the historic summit on Zarkon Prime, the galaxy experienced a transformation unlike any in its long history. The newly formed Galactic Federation of Equals and Comedians, GFEC, became a beacon of hope and humor across the Milky Way. On Earth, the Global Entertainment and Extraterrestrial Relations Department, GEERD, was established to manage the sudden influx of alien interest in human culture. Dr. Okafor found himself at the helm of this peculiar new agency. No, he muttered, reviewing the latest transmission request. "We can't send the Glubians Seinfeld yet. They're still trying to understand the concept of nothing. Let's start them off with some slapstick. Maybe Charlie Chaplin." Meanwhile, the Zarkonians were undergoing their own cultural revolution. Emperor Zixnor, determined to embrace the spirit of equality, had converted the Imperial Palace into the Galactic House of Giggles, a combination government center and comedy club. On opening night, Zixnor himself took the stage, his carapace gleaming under the spotlight. Why did the Zarkonian cross the galaxy? He chittered nervously. To get to the other tide. Get it? Because we used to control the tides of galactic power. The audience of mixed species responded with a cacophony of laughter, groans, and confused trills. It wasn't comedy gold, but it was a start. Across the galaxy, other species were finding their own ways to adapt to the new order. The Phytherians, emboldened by their newfound status as equals, launched the first intergalactic pun competition. Their slogan, "May the worst play on words win," attracted logophiles from 1,000 worlds. On Krang, the tourism industry was booming. Thrill-seeking aliens flocked to experience extreme meditation, sitting motionless on an active volcano while contemplating the nature of silica-based existence. The Glubians, still struggling with humor, decided to contribute to the galactic community in their own way. They established the universe's most efficient bureaucracy, capable of processing paperwork at faster-than-light speeds. Surprisingly, this made them beloved throughout the galaxy. Back on Earth, humanity was grappling with its new role as the galaxy's comedic ambassadors. Late-night talk show hosts found themselves with a suddenly expanded audience, their jokes now requiring footnotes to explain Earth references to bewildered alien viewers. In a secure facility beneath the Himalayan mountains, General Stone was briefing world leaders on an unexpected development. "Ladies and gentlemen," he growled, pulling up a holographic display, "we've detected a new threat. A race of energy beings from the Andromeda Galaxy has taken notice of our little corner of the universe. They call themselves the Luminae, and they're not laughing." Secretary General Tanaka frowned. "Are they hostile?" "Not exactly," Stone replied, "but they're humorless. Literally, they have no concept of humor, and they view our galactic comedy revolution as a threat to universal order." Dr. Chen, who had been quietly analyzing the data, spoke up. "So we're facing a galaxy of cosmic party poopers. Sounds like they need a dose of human creativity." As the leaders debated how to handle this new challenge, the UES Last Laugh was preparing for its most daring mission yet. Captain Rodriguez stood on the bridge, addressing her crew. "All right, folks. We're about to boldly go where no comedian has gone before, to the edge of the Andromeda Galaxy. Our mission: to make the Luminae laugh, or at least chuckle politely. The fate of our Galactic Federation of Fun might just depend on it." The ship's new science officer, a Zarkonian named Zixil, raised a claw. "Captain, I've been studying human humor. Perhaps we could start with a knock-knock joke." Rodriguez grinned. "That's the spirit, Zixil. But let's save that for our secret weapon. If all else fails, we'll unleash the ultimate dad jokes." As the Last Laugh prepared to depart, a transmission came through from Emperor Zixnor. The former galactic tyrant, now sporting a red clown nose between his eye stalks, looked concerned. "Captain Rodriguez, we've just received word that the Luminae have dispatched their own diplomatic vessel. They're calling it the No Nonsense. Good luck, and may the farce be with you." With a final salute, Rodriguez gave the order. The Last Laugh, now equipped with a hybrid drive that powered faster-than-light travel through the power of laughter. Don't ask how. It involves quantum physics and a lot of tickling. Jumped into action. As they sped towards their rendezvous with the humorless Luminae, the crew of the Last Laugh knew they were carrying the hopes of not one, but two galaxies. The 800,000-year war might be over, but the battle for the cosmic funny bone was just beginning. Little did they know, the Luminae had a few surprises of their own in store, and not all of them would be easy to laugh off. The stage was set for a showdown that would determine whether the power of human humor could transcend not just species, but entire galaxies. The cosmic punchline. The UES Last Laugh dropped out of its laughter-powered hyperdrive at the edge of the Andromeda Galaxy, its hull still vibrating from the residual chuckles of its quantum comedian engine. Captain Rodriguez surveyed the starscape before her, a mix of anticipation and mirth dancing in her eyes. "All right, crew, this is it. The galaxy-spanning setup is complete. Time to deliver the punchline," she announced, adjusting her lucky whoopee cushion pin. On the main view screen, a ship unlike any they'd ever seen materialized. The Luminae vessel, No Nonsense, was a perfect sphere of pulsating energy, its surface rippling with waves of seriousness and bureaucratic efficiency. "They're hailing us, Captain," reported Communications Officer Jerry Chung, barely suppressing a giggle at the absurdity of their situation. On screen, Rodriguez commanded, straightening her uniform and putting on her best serious face. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a beam of pure light. Its voice, when it spoke, sounded like a mix of a disapproving librarian and a particularly dull tax auditor. "Greetings, creatures of humor. I am Arbiter Lux of the Luminae. We have observed your comedy revolution spreading across the Milky Way. We find it disturbing." Rodriguez raised an eyebrow. "Disturbing? I'd say it's been pretty enlightening, personally. Get it? Because you're made of light." The Luminae Arbiter's glow flickered in what might have been confusion or annoyance. "This is precisely the problem. Your jokes serve no practical purpose. They waste time and energy that could be used for more productive pursuits." Zixel, the Zarkonian science officer, stepped forward. "If I may, Arbiter Lux, we've prepared a presentation on the scientific benefits of humor. Did you know laughter boosts immune function and decreases stress hormones?" "Irrelevant," Lux dismissed. "The universe operates on laws of physics, not punchlines. We've come to put an end to this galactic foolishness." As tensions rose, Dr. Chen's voice came through on a secure channel. "Captain, we've analyzed the Luminae energy signature. Their entire civilization runs on the power of pure logic. If we can introduce even a small element of absurdity into their system..." Rodriguez's eyes lit up with understanding. "It's time for our secret weapon. Zixel, initiate protocol knock-knock." The Zarkonian nodded gravely and stepped up to the comm. "Arbiter Lux, I have a query for you. Knock-knock." The Luminae's glow pulsed in confusion. "I don't understand. No one is knocking on anything." No, Zixel explained patiently. "You're supposed to say, 'Who's there?'" Lux's voice dripped with disdain. "This is absurd. Who is where?" "Interrupting cow," Zixel replied, antenna twitching in anticipation. "Interrupting. Moo," Zixel bellowed, his mandibles clacking with glee. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, almost imperceptibly, a small chuckle escaped from the Luminae ship. It started as a tiny ripple in their energy field but quickly grew into pulsating waves of mirth. Alarms blared on the last laugh. "Captain," cried the sensor officer, "the Luminae ship is experiencing some kind of chain reaction." On the view screen, Arbiter Lux's form was rippling uncontrollably. What is happening? This sensation. It's illogical, yet pleasant." Rodriguez grinned. "That, my illuminated friend, is the power of a good laugh, or in this case, a terribly good bad joke." As the Luminae grappled with their first experience of humor, something extraordinary happened. Their rigid energy structure began to loosen, colors swirling through their once uniform glow. It was as if an entire civilization was experiencing a collective tickle. "Captain," Dr. Chen's excited voice came through. "The Luminae's energy signature is changing. They're evolving, becoming more flexible, more alive." Arbiter Lux's form stabilized, now a swirling kaleidoscope of colors. "This humor, it defies logic, yet it makes us feel more complete. How is this possible?" Rodriguez stepped forward, her expression warm. "That's the beauty of it, Arbiter. Humor helps us see the world from new angles, to find joy in the absurd, to connect across differences. It's not just about laughter, it's about creativity, adaptability, and understanding." Over the next few hours, the crew of The Last Laugh introduced the Luminae to a crash course in comedy, from slapstick to satire. To everyone's surprise, the energy beings turned out to have a particular affinity for puns, their groans of mock despair sending ripples across space-time. As the impromptu cultural exchange wound down, Arbiter Lux addressed Captain Rodriguez. "We came here to end your comedy revolution. Instead, you've started one in our galaxy. The Luminae owe you a debt of gratitude and a lifetime supply of our best light-bulb jokes." With the crisis averted and two galaxies united in laughter, The Last Laugh prepared for its journey home. As they engaged their laughter drive, Rodriguez couldn't help but reflect on how far they'd come. From facing down an 800,000-year-old empire to teaching an entire galaxy to laugh, humanity had proven that their greatest strength wasn't technology or military might. It was their irrepressible spirit and their ability to find humor in even the darkest corners of the cosmos. As the ship disappeared into hyperspace, leaving behind a trail of cosmic chuckles, Rodriguez made a log entry. Captain's log. Stardate. Who knows? We came, we saw, we cracked up. 2 galaxies are now united in laughter, and the universe is a bit brighter for it. Our 800,000-year war ended not with a bang, but with a punchline. And you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Next stop. Home. I hear the Galactic Comedy Festival is kicking off, and I've got a few new Zarkonian walks into a bar jokes to workshop. Rodriguez out. And so, as the last laugh streaked across the cosmos, it left in its wake a new era of intergalactic understanding, proving once and for all that in the face of an infinite, often absurd universe, sometimes the best thing to do is simply laugh.